Okay, so here I'm gonna do how do you put collage elements in an acrylic painting? So I just have a few elements. This is not going to be a complete work, it's just showing how to add collage elements to acrylic. So I have a background that I made, and I want to put this woman here, but I want this flower behind her head. So what I'm going to do is get some acrylic gel medium. This is great for collage. This could be for collage on paper, cardboard, or combining collage with paint. This works really well. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm putting it on the cardboard. And you can use a palette knife or a brush. So I'm using a palette knife and I'm turning it around. This is gloss. There's gloss or matte. I'll show you in a second. I'm trying to cover the whole thing, but not getting it too goopy. You could also use glue, but I think this is a bit better. And I'm putting it down. If you want to make sure that it's down, you can use your fingers, or you can use a brayer or a roller. Sorry, you couldn't really see that. Okay. So I'm going to use this to try to get it down. Okay, and it looks like this edge is didn't get any on it. You can use your fingers as well if you don't have a roller. You can also put the medium. So sometimes you get little wrinkles. You can try to correct those with your fingers or bubbles. So you want to try to cover the whole thing. So you can correct it with your fingers or the roller. You can also coat it with gel medium on top of it. Like so gel medium is gloss or matte. Gloss is shiny and matte is not shiny. But if you want to paint on top of it, you could cover it with this and it would be like a protective coating over it. And it also just seals it in, but it's going to be shiny. So I'm putting some on top. You could use a paintbrush or your finger. And that just kind of really seals it on there to make sure it's not going to move. And then it's shiny. I don't know if you like shiny, but it will be shiny. And it looks like kind of whitish, but it dries clear. So now I'm just getting a little bit more. This is just to show you how to do this. Whoops, oh my gosh, I just got this on her, which I didn't mean to do. Okay. So now I'm going to use this woman. I kind of made some rips in there that I didn't mean to make, and I'm just seeing if she fits here in the right way. Yeah, so I wanted that kind of coming out above her head. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the back of here. Again, this is a little bit of a bigger piece. Remember, if you don't cover it, you'll get bubbles. So I'm just trying to cover the whole thing. I want to be kind of quick because I don't want it to dry. It's an acrylic medium, but excellent for collage. You can spread out with your fingers as well. Okay, I mean, that's good enough for right now. You can be a perfectionist, but this is just a demo. So I wanted it to cover up the writing on the flower because there was some writing on there. And I really need to be careful with this. Okay. It's already getting wrinkled, so I don't want it to wrinkle. I want it to be as smooth as I can get it. And I'm trying to work fast because it's going to dry pretty quickly. This is not perfect. See, it has wrinkles in it or bubbles, but I'm going to try to correct those as best as I can. Okay. With my fingers, but it's not going to be perfect. So you're going to have to practice this a bit if you want to use this, because like if you want it really smooth. And I ripped off part of the magazine. Oh well, I'm going to correct it with paint. But what I don't like, you can correct rips and stuff with paint, but what I don't like are these bubbles. This was a thinner piece of magazine, and you can kind of see the paint through it. I mean, if you don't like that, you could get a thicker magazine, and a thicker magazine probably wouldn't have the bubbles. I'm going to cover it a little bit. I'm just using my fingers. And I'm really unhappy with these wrinkles. I'm going to try to correct them as best as I can while I'm doing this. But this is just giving it a coating in case I want to paint on top of it. It's kind of a protective coating, and it also gives it a glossy sheen. It's looking really shiny right now. Okay, I'm just kind of looking at these areas with bubble. I don't want to rip it. I ripped it right here. It's not perfect, but I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want to get it too yucky. Okay, so now I'm going to come to this piece. I wanted this piece to be about right here. I don't know what this is going to be. It's just kind of to demo the collage technique. I'm really not happy with these. Hold on. Let me see what this will do. Still a little bit wet, so this might be able. It's ripping off pieces, but I'd rather have it flat. Oops, it is really kind of ripping off little pieces. I'm just trying to iron out those bubbles. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, so now I'm gonna use this piece. I keep messing it up. I don't want to mess it up anymore. I just don't like the wrinkly aspect of it. I probably put a little too much on there since it was a thin piece of magazine. So I'm putting some on here. I'm trying to put less on here and let's see what happens. Okay, so now, oops, and now oh my gosh, what? I just ripped part of that off. Not what I meant to do. But you're seeing what happens when you do a collage, all the messiness. So to really be neat about your area. Okay, so the less worked better. I'm just going to leave that there. Some of it is still not attached, like right here. I put a little too much on this, but this is a thicker piece of magazine as well. And I'm going to cover it. Just seals the edges. There was a hair in there. You can cover the whole thing or the edges. But if you want to paint on top of it, you might want to cover it. Sorry about that. I'm trying not to use too much. Okay, and I wanted a rose about right here. So I'm putting some on the back. I don't want to put too much. And you can do layers. So you can paint on top of this. I mean, you could just do a collage with this stuff, but you could paint on top of this and then do more collage if you wanted. And do as many layers as you wanted. And the last thing, I mean, this needs to dry. And this is getting wrinkled, yucky. Not what I wanted. Okay, it's not perfect. I want this little planet up here. Sorry, you can't see it. I may have put too much on there. But I'm going to put a little over this. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here and let it dry, and then I'll come back in with some paint. Okay. So I'm just going to do a tiny bit. I don't have a lot of acrylic paint. I just have very little. I only have like 2 or 3 colors. But okay, so first I would like to get some paint and see like these holes right here. I have some pink, so I'm going to put that in there. And you can just rub it in. You can do layers. And then, okay, 1 second. I did want some greens for the flower because the flower looks like it's floating in space, and I wanted her to look like she was holding a flower. So I'm going to use some green right here, like it's in her hand. But see how you can do paint right on it? That would need more detail. I'm just giving this is just to show you kind of a technique. And then I have a little bit of blue, so I'm going to put some stars that are going partially in the sky and partially over the magazine with a stencil. You can tape this down if you want, and I'm going to use the blue I have. The reason I'm not doing a lot here is because I don't have that much more color. So I'm putting some blue down. This is a little bit of a watery old acrylic. Hopefully it doesn't spill. You could also use spray paint to do this. And you could do oil paint on top of the whole thing. So you can do oil over acrylic, but not acrylic over oil. So once you get this done, you could, and you have like a layer of gel medium on top of the collage, you could do an oil painting over it or a glaze. I have really bad acrylic paint. I need to get some new paint. So see what I can do with this. It's really watery. I'm holding this with my fingers so it doesn't move. Oh yeah, I can see it looks watery. Oh well, we'll see what happens. Since it's a fast drying paint, I could wait for it to dry and then do another layer. It's just that this paint is very cheap and very thin. I've kind of used up all my good acrylic paint, and this is just my bad paint that I have left over. See if this is dry. Oh, it is kind of dry. Let me do another layer. It's a fast drying paint. That's the positive. And then you could do an oil painting over this when it's all dry, if that's what you prefer. So you can combine. Hopefully it's not so wet that it's kind of leaking under the stencil. However, I just wanted to show you that you could paint over both the painting and the magazine. Let's see what this might look really bad. It doesn't look that great. The paint was too wet, watery. I can fix that later. But I'm also, so this woman is wearing a skirt, and I want to kind of make her skirt come down here. So I would fill that in. Do I want to fill it in with paint? I'm just maybe a little bit. Hold on. Let me get a different brush. So I'll use the pink for some of it. You could also fill it in with magazine, collage, but this is a better kind of paint. It's thicker, it's nicer, and it would have done better in the stencil. And I want that arm, but I mean I don't necessarily need this. I'm gonna have her skirt. Again, this is just kind of a rough draft. I would add a lot to it later just to show you a technique. And sometimes you can see through the paint. See that? Sometimes you need two layers to make it opaque. It's transparent now, which means see-through, and opaque is not see-through. I'll leave it because you can see through. I wanted to see your hand, but we can still see through. And then I'll decide what I'm going to do with this later. Okay, so I mean, I'm not doing a lot. I would add a lot more to this later. And then maybe I will, but for right now, I'm going to leave it as is. And I just wanted to make something kind of like fantasy and surreal. I will probably add to it later when it dries. Maybe more collage elements, maybe some oil paint, maybe some spray paint, maybe some more magazine. But I would do it in layers slowly and let it dry. I'm going to stop it here. That was just to show you the technique. And sorry about the wet paint.